And welcome to OutKick Bets, the show. On this Tuesday edition, I am your host, Kayla Knierim. Joining me over there in Alabama is my buddy, Arky Shea. Arky, how's your Tuesday so far?
What it is, 2K, I'm so pumped. We had a great night last night, which we'll talk about in a minute.
Yes.
But I'm here. Every morning is a great morning to make money, and every day is a great one to get rich off some picks, girl.
I hear that.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to start where we always start, with a bet last night to see how we did. As Arky just mentioned, we did pretty great if we do say so ourselves. We're going to start with that Monday Night Football game where Washington took this one 17, Seahawks 15. My bet hit. I took Washington +1, so pat on the back there. Russell Wilson was 20 of 31 for 247 yards and 2 touchdowns, while Taylor Heineke, I'll get this right eventually, was 27 of 35 for 223 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Arky, what did you think of this game?
Well, you mentioned all those yards for Russell Wilson, and about 95 of them came on the very final drive of the game for them, where it was almost a game-tying drive and a miraculous comeback. And by miraculous, I mean, how do you not know to chase the slot receiver when you're cover 2? Because doesn't matter. I'm getting mad about a game plan. The NFL did it again to us last night. They gave us another crappy game, but a fantastic finish in it. My bets went pretty darn good. So you remember yesterday I gave you the first quarter under, first half under, and the game under. The first quarter under, we were 1 play away from hitting. Russell Wilson gets the touchdown with 20 seconds to go and made it over 9.5. But we got the other 2 unders, the under 23.5 for the first half and easily under 46.5 for the game itself. So we did really well on the Monday Night Football game. As you saw, it was a slog of a game until the final 4 or 5 minutes. It was really again, another really bad football game, but a great finish.
That you tweeted that, didn't you? I feel like I saw that somewhere.
Yeah, because they did it again. The NFL just has this way of giving us awful games and really great finishes
that somehow become super competitive, and then you're totally into it by the end of it.
Yeah, then you're like, dude, I thought I was going to make this money easy. Now I'm going to have to sweat a little. Stop doing this.
It makes it exciting, keeping us all on our toes, that NFL.
Yeah.
You mentioned our Knights. I went 3-0 for the first time. Washington +7, as we just mentioned. I took the Nuggets +7. They got the win over the Heat, and the Jazz -7. So finally, I had a perfect night.
Yeah, nice job, 2K. I added I was with you on the Jazz as well, as they, in the fourth quarter especially, just turned around and beat Portland in the mouth. And the Kentucky game actually played out exactly like we said it would. Big blowout in the first half, got the -15, 16, 17. You could have had a -25 in the first half, and it would have worked out for you. But then Tony Barbee had the dogs called off of him by John Calipari and let his friend not lose by 30, so you didn't get the game cover. But you got the first half if you were listening to us on OutKick Bets.
What can I say? We know what we're talking about most of the time.
We do, yeah.
All right, moving over to our betting news. The coaching carousel continues. As we all learned yesterday, Brian Kelly is headed to LSU. I can relate to this because I, too, like a good Irish goodbye. Da-dunce. All right. Brian Kelly is leaving Notre Dame and heading down south to the SEC and will be the new Tigers head coach. He'll leave the Fighting Irish after 11 seasons where he had a 113-40 overall record with 2 college football playoff berths and an appearance in the BCS championship game in 2013. As we know, the last 3 coaches at LSU, and Nick Saban, Les Miles, and Ed Orgeron, have all won national championships, so no pressure, but we'll see if Coach Kelly can also get it done for the Tigers. Kelly also reportedly texted his players yesterday in an apology and had a meeting with them at 7 this morning that lasted approximately 11 minutes. That sounds like the worst thing ever. I mean, I wouldn't even go to class if it was raining too hard, so good luck getting me to a 7 a.m. meeting. There's also a very real scenario in which Notre Dame could make the college football playoff this season, so I don't know what we do here. Arky, what are your thoughts on the new hire? How does this all play out?
Yeah, first of all, Brian Kelly's not going to coach the team bowl game or college football playoff. That's already been said. He wants to get on the field and start recruiting for LSU, which is fine, I guess. I didn't see this one coming. I did not think Brian Kelly would be interested in a job like LSU because mainly I didn't think LSU would be willing to pay nearly $100 million for a guy over 9 or 10 seasons. I just didn't think Brian Kelly would want to go from a place in Notre Dame where he's going to get the benefit of the doubt as an independent and because of their brand versus a place like LSU. But academic standards are much different at LSU than they are at Notre Dame, and I won't tell you why, but I will tell you don't have to be as smart to get into Louisiana State. No offense to the Bayou Bengals. This is another seismic shift. We saw one with Lincoln Riley going out west to USC, and now we see one with Brian Kelly, who's got the mentality, at least, and the caliber of wins behind him to bring LSU into championship glory yet again. And they got a bunch of great players there. It's a huge shift in the college football landscape. And Kayla, I got to be honest with you. I remember a day when the University of Florida was hiring a football coach that used to be a big deal. And now it's just nowhere because there have been so many huge moves already. It's been a wild carousel.
And it's a crazy trickle-down effect. Another important thing to note here is Notre Dame has a top 5 recruiting class coming in for the 2022 season. So I'm sure this is going to mean more transfers. I just feel bad for the players in all of this. I'm a big proponent on commitment and keeping your word, and I know this is all part of the business, but it bums me out for the players' sake because then it just reshuffles everything. Who do you see filling the Notre Dame head coaching job? I mean, Urban Meyer was floating around yesterday.
Yeah.
I saw Matt Berry's tweet where he's like, I don't think that they're going to hire someone who has a girl grinding on him that's not his wife, but...
What, at a Catholic institution? No, come on. Man, they might. I don't know. There's been some discussion that Marcus Freeman, the defensive coordinator, might be elevated to that spot. Jack Swarbrick, the AD, has already said that they're going to have no interim guy right now. They're just going to see how the team responds to not having an interim coach. And that's a weird thing to do also. Like, I just don't understand this entire coaching season so far. That I can't get a read on it. So I don't know. I didn't think Notre Dame would be open. I didn't think Oklahoma would be open. So I have no idea, honestly. I really couldn't put a name on it.
Have we ever had a season where this many big jobs have been open? I can't remember in recent memory with this many head coaching jobs.
I'll be quick with it. Like, I think USC, Oklahoma, Florida, Notre Dame, Washington are all elite level. LSU are all elite level jobs that are at some point open or were coming open. And don't think that Notre Dame's not going to go for a big name hire that's going to have another big program looking for a coach too, unless they of course get the Catholic Crusader Urban Meyer himself.
All right, and on that note, we're going to head into our game of the day. We're going to look at the NBA. All of these lines, of course, are according to FanDuel Sportsbook. The top 2 teams in the West are going to battle it out in Phoenix. Get your popcorn ready because this is going to be something to see. The Warriors are 18-2. They'll visit the Phoenix Suns, who are 17-3. 5 total losses this season between these two teams. That is insane. Phoenix here is the 2.5-point favorite with a total of 219.5. The Warriors' last loss to Charlotte on November 14th. They are currently on a 7-game winning streak, while the Suns' last loss was to, drumroll please, the Kings on October 27th, as they are on this insane 16-game winning streak. This is wild. Arky, who are you taking in this one?
Boy, good luck. It is a tough one with a lot of dudes playing a lot of really good basketball right now. Phoenix is on this stupid streak right now, and I don't mean like bad, like stupid good, obviously.
Stupid good.
Yeah, like you got DeAndre Ayton who's averaging a double-double during this streak. Devin Booker's at about 24 points a game already right now this season, and that's 13th in the NBA. Chris Paul is number 1 in the NBA in assists per game, just over 10 per spot. And then at Golden State, you got Steph Curry, who just set a record for fewest games to get to 100 3-pointers made in a season. At 19 games, he got to 100 3-pointers made on Sunday. It's just sort of hard to fathom how good these two teams have been. I told you before on the show that this is the Remember Us tour for the Golden State Warriors, and if it wasn't for this huge streak by Phoenix right now, they'd still be just the only talk right now happening in the National Basketball Association. But Steph Curry's been lighting it up like a season he hasn't had in the last few. We talk about he's still battling Kevin Durant for the scoring title. These two teams score a bunch. They're top 3. Both of them are in scoring offense. They're both top 10 in scoring defense. This is 2.5 feels like a lot of points in this game to sort of give anybody in a streak like this. So I don't like this number at all, and I don't feel comfortable with any of it. I'm going to watch the crap out of this game. Okay, this is definitely an Arky eyeballs kind of night. But I'm going to play a prop bet in this game instead. And I'm going to look at Devin Booker, who right now on FanDuel, you can get 24.5 points tonight. And I don't like him to go over that tonight. He's averaging 23.9 right now. And 24.5 is not a huge stretch for him. But he's also going against the best defense he's going to play in the NBA so far this season in the Warriors. In fact, they're number 3 in scoring defense and field goal percentage defense, too. So I think they're going to make things difficult on him to sort of be able to be the main scorer tonight. So I think Devin Booker struggles a little. And I'm going to go under 24.5 Devin Booker points tonight. And I'm going to let the rest of the game play out and enjoy the crap at it, because this is the game of the season so far in the NBA, and it's going to be a good one.
Absolutely. First time these two have faced each other all season. Suns are 10-10 against the spread, while the Warriors are, this season, and 7-8-1 against the spread as the 2.5 point favorite, while Golden State is 15-5 against the spread and are obviously 2-0 as the 2.5 point underdog. So I'm kind of surprised the total isn't higher with as many sharp shooters as these two teams have. Obviously, Steph is the leading scorer for the Warriors, averaging 28.6 points per game, while the Warriors are, as a whole, are putting up an average of 112 points. Devin Booker leads the Suns in scoring at 23.9, and Phoenix consistently throws down 114 points per game. I absolutely can't wait for this showdown. These two teams have been playing, have not been playing their opponents super close, but they are about to meet their match in each other. So with that said, Arky, unlike you, I'm going to get risky here, and I think I'm leaning Golden State at plus 2.5. I also like the over of 219.5. I mean, when you have this many guys who are this good, I just see the total racking up in this one.
Yeah, you might be right in this one, but I think it's interesting to note that Phoenix has outscored their opponents during this game, during this streak, which again is at 16 games, by nearly 12 points a game. So this is going to be the best game they played during this streak. It's going to be a lot closer than the 12 points. I just don't know. I don't know where I'm going to put my money outside of that prop bet. I'm just going to stay on the Devin Booker under, and I'm just going to hope for a really good game.
It is a appointment television tonight, that's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, heading over to our spotlight matchup, we're going to look at some college basketball. Number 1 Duke, who is 7-0, at Ohio State, who is 4-2. Duke right now is the 2.5 point favorite with a total here of 147.5. Arky, who do you like in this one?
Oh man, listen. You may know, if you've been watching for the last couple of weeks, that Ohio State has been ripping my heart out every single chance I get to bet them. And I thought I would go away from them, but they keep dragging me back in. And it's for this Duke matchup, which Duke has played very, very, very well this entire season. I mean, very evidenced by the fact that they beat Gonzaga in that Final Four type game on Friday night. They're living high on the hog right now. Now they're going to Columbus, where Ohio State's still a pretty good team. Even though they dropped out of the top 25 for the first time in 25 weeks, they've lost to respectable teams like Xavier and Florida recently. So it's not a very bad team when we sort of pay attention to Ohio State. They just haven't sort of gotten together. In fact, I read something out of the Columbus Dispatch yesterday. They called this season so far a fact-finding start to the season, which I thought was a great way to put it. They're trying to figure out who they are. And who they are really right now is E.J. Liddell. E.J. Liddell is amazing. He's 7th in the country in scoring at 22.5 points per game. He's first in the Big Ten when it comes to blocks. But here's the bad thing about E.J. Liddell is that he leads the team in shots, points, blocks, and minutes. And why is all that a bad thing? Because the whole workload is going on him. He's got 2 really young backcourt teammates in Michi Johnson and Malachi Barnum, who really have been super inconsistent this season. And it's not like the talent's not there. It just comes with youth. I mean, these are 2 4-star guys coming out of high school, so they're very, very good players. They've just been really inconsistent so far for this team. Ohio State's kept most of their games close, even in their losses. 3 of their games have been decided by 3 points, in the final 3 seconds of the game. I just don't think that's the case tonight. Duke is loaded from top to bottom. Check this out. Paulo Banchero has obviously been very, very good. He was the ACC Freshman of the Week this week. He was also the ACC Freshman of the Week in Week 1. The guy who was Freshman of the Week in Week 2 is A.J. Griffin, his teammate. Yeah, so they're loaded there. And we talk about somebody like Wendell Moore Jr. who's on this team. He's the only Power 5 player who's averaging 17 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and shooting 50% from the field. Like, he is great. This whole team is top-loaded and great. And I just think there's just more depth there and more knowledge as far as who I trust this Duke team to be. So I'm taking Duke -2. I got a -2 last night. So you can get them -2.5. But again, I'm not going to give you the hook anymore. If you get them 3, 4, I'd probably trust them all the way up until 5, if the -5 if you could get it. I think Duke wins fairly comfortably, probably a couple free throws at the end. But I think Duke's the better team tonight.
I'm right there with you. Obviously, you said they're coming off that huge win to Gonzaga, taking down the #1 team in the country, while Ohio State will be entering their game against the #1 team in the country off a loss. So I just think they're coming in with different mindsets. E.J. Liddell taking on Banchero. I think it's going to be fun watching these two go at it. But as you said, Ohio State's kind of a one-man band, while Duke can, share the ball among other players. Banchero's averaging 18.3 points per game. Liddell's 22.5. Duke has won 6 against the spread this season, and they are 5-2 against the spread when playing as 2.5-point favorites. Ohio State has won 3 against the spread. The Buckeyes and Duke have gone over this total of 147.5 4 times this season. So I'm going to do what feels right here. I know Ohio State's a decent team, but I don't think they are decent enough to take down the #1 team in the country, which is why I'm rolling with Duke at -2.5, Arky.
Okay, so
short
we're
and
good
sweet.
there.
We're good there.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Go. Well, I can't say go. For my money, go Blue Devils.
Are you anti-Duke? Have we talked about this?
I just why would you root for Alabama or for Duke? Like you're rooting for found money, right? I guess like they're old money. They've been money forever. Like oh, Duke's #1 again. Let's root for the team that never gets it, right? That's always poor gritty Duke. Come on, they've always been there.
So you're not like one that absolutely hates them. You just like to see other people win.
Listen, I don't hate any team if they're going to make me money.
That's true.
Yeah.
Fair. All right. We're going to take a look at our quick hitters of the day. Arky, where are you starting with your quick hitter?
The ACC Big Ten Challenge continues.
Let's go.
This time we go to Purdue taking on Florida State. And listen, we talked about Florida State early in the season, how I thought this was a team that could make a Final Four run. I think that they're good enough to be able to do it. They've had some struggles this season, but they're not a bad team. But they're going to Purdue where they're 11.5-point underdog, and there's a good reason for that. Is they're going to be without 3 really good players, including their starting guard, Raekwon Evans, who is sadly going to have to attend his brother's funeral. They're going to be without starting center Tanner Ngam, who is going to be out for this game with an injury, and backup center Naheem McLeod, who, by the way, if you combine their heights, it's 14 feet 6 inches of dudes. That's who Florida State's going to be missing at center. By the way, check this out, 2K.
Yes.
Their starting center is 7'2". Their backup center is 7'4". And who's their backup center? Oh, just another 7-foot kid that Florida State's got. I didn't know there were 3 7-foot dudes on the planet, much less all going to Tallahassee, for crying out loud.
That's crazy.
So Purdue at home is 4-0 at home. They're really good there. They're averaging 95 points a game at home. The average margin is 95 to 57. They're doing really, really well in West Lafayette, and they're just a much better team. They're the #2 team in the country because they're a really good team. They've scored 80 points in all 6 of their games, 90 in 5 of the 6 games. Every game but one has had at least a 50-point half scored by Purdue at some point. So tonight I'm going double dose in this game.
Ooh.
I'm going -6 in the first half in favor of Purdue and -11 for the game for Purdue. Florida State's a solid team. They'll turn you over about 27% of the time, but that's if everybody is there, and they're not tonight. Hostile environment. I think Purdue not only was going to win this game before, but without 3 very good basketball players, I think this is destined to be a Purdue, maybe even 15, 20-point victory tonight. It's going to be that kind of night for Florida State, I believe. So give me the -6 first half and -11 for the game for the Purdue Boilermakers tonight.
I like it. Making it fun.
Yeah.
I can't stop thinking about the 3 centers that are over 7 feet.
I can't believe there are 3 people up that are 7 feet tall in this country, much less like they're all going to Florida State.
I need to see a picture of them. That is wild. All right, I'm going to head over to the NHL for a little freeway face-off action when the Anaheim Ducks, who are 11-8-3, visit the LA Kings, who are 9-8-3. The Kings here are the slight favorite with the puck line as the total sits at 5.5. This will be the first time these rivals have played each other in the regular season this year, and they're both having similar seasons. After an 8-game winning streak, Anaheim has dropped 4 of their last 5, while the Kings had a 7-game winning streak and have now dropped 5 of their last 6. So if the Kings want to make this a game, they will need to shut down Troy Terry, who currently ranks 10th in the league with 23 points, 13 goals, and 10 assists. The guy is on fire right now. While Anze Kopitar, on the other hand, leads the Kings in points at 21, as well as goals and assists, and has 5 goals and 2 assists over the Kings' last 10 games. The Kings, who are currently in the middle of a 7-game homestand, I believe will be feeding off that momentum they had getting the series win over the Senators on Saturday. Arky, I don't know if you heard about this, but there was a potential biting incident in that game. Did you see the video of this?
I did, and I love when biting somehow becomes a thing between two teams on a court for some reason, or on the ice in this case.
That Brendan Lemieux, he is a scrappy dude. That was wild. I like the Kings at home. I would lean the under despite Troy. In these rivalry games, it's always scrappy. It's always a battle. So I'm going to ride the under, and I'm going to stay away from the spread.
Okay.
That's where I'm headed with this one.
All right. I might sprinkle a little bit of that with you. That's not bad. That's not a bad idea.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
And now, as we look ahead to the weekend, we are both doing a little peek at primetime this weekend. So, Arky, tell us about the game you are looking out for as we head into the weekend in a few days.
in 6 days, we got another Monday Night Football matchup. But
we just like looking ahead.
That's right. We're almost completely ahead. There is finally a really good Monday Night Football appealing matchup that's actually going to show up. The AFC East battle between the Patriots and the Bills. Bills are a 3-point home favorite right now, and the total is 44. I'm really interested to see sort of where this number goes throughout the week because the Patriots, of course, on this white-hot streak. The Bills have had their ups and downs over the last month. And you sort of which team is the real Buffalo Bills team, the one that led the world in point margin through the first 6 weeks of the season, or the one that's kind of come back to earth and let the New England Patriots come back and give them a chance to be able to compete for the division title this late into the season. So Buffalo is going to be a very interesting number to watch because I think this number may go down a touch. If you could get this to like 2.5, I'd go ahead and buy it down to 2 because I think Buffalo is probably the better team at home. Mm-hmm. But it's hard to go against a New England Patriots team right now the way they are playing. I know they're going to lose another game. It's just trying to figure out where. Buffalo's the best team with the fewest injuries. Everybody's practicing for them so far this week. They're the best team with the fewest injuries that the Patriots have been able to play during this streak. So this might be the time to go ahead and get off the Patriots bandwagon, at least for a week, and to make some money for Buffalo. But I'm going to pay attention to this line throughout the week.
Okay. I know who the Patriots are going to lose to.
Who?
The Chiefs in the AFC Championship game.
Oh, okay. Well, if we can get us to the AFC Championship game, that's a while away, but okay.
All right, and with that, I am obviously looking to Sunday Night Football, where the Broncos, who are 6-5, will visit the Chiefs, who are 7-4. Arky, it's only Tuesday, but I am waiting all week for Sunday night. This game, as we recently found out, did get bumped to primetime, so I couldn't be more thrilled about that. Arrowhead in primetime, the Chiefs under the lights, it doesn't get much better. And I was actually at the same game last year. It was a Sunday night game at Arrowhead against the Broncos the exact same weekend. And spoiler, the Chiefs won. But it was a little too close for comfort at 22-16. Kansas City right now is the 10-point favorite with a total of 47.5. The Broncos come into Sunday off a win over another AFC West rival, the Chargers, and have won 3 of their last 5. While the Chiefs have finally seemed to find their rhythm, which, thank the Lord, they've now won 4 of their last 5 and are currently riding high on a 4-game winning streak. They are coming off bye week, which kind of concerns me in terms of breaking up that momentum that we had going, but I'm not going to let that deter me from riding with the Chiefs, not to mention Andy Reid thrives on some rest and has a 19-3 record when coming off a bye. He's one of the best coaches to do it, so I do love that stat. Kansas City has won 11 consecutive games against Denver and are 9-2 against the spread in those 11 matchups. The division games are always tough, as I mentioned above, but they only won by 6 last year, so I can see it being another close game or closer than we think. Casey also has 3 divisional matchups back to back to back over the next 3 weekends, so buckle up. That also is a little concerning. You know what, though? I'm going to do it anyway. Don't tempt me with a good time. Let's have some fun and give me the Chiefs at -10. I know. It scares me. Betting my team worked last time, though. I bet Chiefs and Mizzou, and they both hit. I'm slowly gaining my trust back with them. We're trying to take it slow and work things out. So until they let me down in a big way, I'm going to hope that extra week of rest has Kansas City firing on all cylinders. Makes me nervous, though. As for this total, though, Denver is averaging 20 points per game compared to the Chiefs' 25. And even though the Chiefs' defense has looked better, the Broncos are only allowing an average of 17 points compared to the Chiefs' 22. So the total for me is too unpredictable, but I would lean the under in this one, again, because it's a divisional rival. But then again, the Chiefs put up 41 against the Raiders. So who even knows anymore? I'm going to stay away from the total, but I think I'm going to take the Chiefs at -10. That's scary.
You're trusting your team. You're trusting them by double digits in a division game. That is
love is blind.
It's not impossible, but woo.
But look what they did on the road. Look what they did on the road in Vegas.
Yeah, so, Vegas is okay. Let me just say this. Let me just ask this: is there a more boring, really respectable team than the Denver Broncos? Like they
That's true. They kind of fly under the radar, but they're like sneaky gonna win. Yeah, not this game, but other games.
There's no way this game should have been flexed into prime time the way Denver we thought they were going to be in the couple of games they should have lost earlier this season, but they keep winning and keep being more than respectable in those games. I don't know. Like if you gun to my head right now, I'd probably take Denver +10 right now, but. You know, maybe ask me at the end of the week when we're talking about the games this weekend. That's a lot of points to give in a division game. But I don't know. Maybe Kansas City's about to hit that stride. I don't know. I'm a little iffy on them too. So, you know, I hope you have your rosary beads because that one's going to be a don't like that right now.
In primetime Pat, we trust.
Yeah, you better. Okay.
Crossing my fingers for this one. All right. Well, that is going to do it for us today on OutKick Bets the Show. That is Arky Shea. I am Kayla Knierim. As always, don't forget to make your picks at FanDuel.com/OutKick. Best of luck in your betting, friends, and we will see you right here tomorrow. Have a good one.